Hello, I'm Mark, and here today I'm showing you the PITT CC FLWR, which is a MIDI sequencer and recorder and player. You can create your own waves, or you can use the built-in wavetables to make your own various different static waves that we can see here on the screen. We've already went through a few features of this MIDI controller. We've already been making patterns and sounds with the Volca sample, which you've got set up here. So at the moment I've got a pattern in there which is very basic. So just again a little beat, and there's a tambourine and a snare in there. Now the CC FLWR, whenever you press a patch button, it will actually save to memory on the SD card that's internally all the settings and the waves. This means it will be back to where you came from when you turn it back on and off, which is great, you know. But you may want to do more than just the 4 patches and what you got in there. You might have different songs. If you're doing a gig, let's say, you might have a whole set of songs that you use with the CC FLWR, and you don't have the time just to set them up back up in between. So it has actually got a file menu which you can access the SD card. This is accessible by pressing one of the patch buttons, let's say number 1, and the left hand encoder. And as you can see there, we're into the file manager. So immediately you can see patch 1, patch 2, patch 3, patch 4, load file. So you've got your various options here down the right hand side. So first off, you notice that patch has got a box around it. It natively goes into patch mode when you hit the file manager button. And as you can see, we've got some files that are already loaded. So that base 134 test, let's load files. So what you do is you can go up and down using your left encoder, and your right encoder changes this menu on the side where you got your load file. So let's get that test one. You commit to loading the file, and it's going to load it into patch 4, and there we go. So we've got some kind of pattern that is running on MIDI 1, and it's a note pattern. And what I can do is I'm going to just solo that track, and we can hear what it is. So here we go. So that's a previously saved track. We can also save this. So let's say we fiddle around with it. So I'm going to change the position of it and make it quite and there we go. And now let's say I wanted to save this again. I press down on number 4 to say this is the patch that I'm saving from. File menu, and then as you go save as file, I've got a little cursor here. So at the moment it's got its original name, but what I can do is, again, the left hand controller can move that cursor along. So I've got test there, and I'm going to put in there something else like sample, because we're using the Volca sample. So samp. And you can see it works like the old games that you had in, the old 8-bit area, where you put your name in and you just select the letters and you press the encoder. And that means now when I press the right encoder, it's saved that file. So now if I want to bring up that bassline into number 3 rather than having this, this sine wave, I just go into the file menu, patch 3, save. So we don't want to save that patch, we want to load one, and I can load bass 134 samp. So again, you press the right hand controller to commit that, and there we go. We have patch 1 and 2, and now got the same pattern in that we just saved. So then what I can do now is I can put it onto a different MIDI channel. Let's see what it sounds like against the snare. This could be quite messy, but let's have a listen. So I'm going to unmute that and press play. And on patch 3, sorry, I still got the MIDI one. I want to bring that back down. So again, which is all well and good if you want to mess around with individual waves. But sometimes we got all this other data. So if I just go back into here, we've got the BPM, we've got what kind of modes it's on. That all can be saved as well as a global song. And we call it a scene. So it sets a scene, it sets all the 4 patches up, and the BPM, and things like, is it in solo mode for patches, or does it play all of them, or is it even in sequence mode? So how we can load and save scenes is again by pressing one of the patch buttons and the left hand controller back into the file menu. Now remember, down here we've got patch that's highlighted. If we click on scene using the right hand controller encoder, now we see that when we load and save files, it's got scene. So this is all of the scenes that we got saved. So I'm going to load file, I'm going to scroll down, and I've got one here called Space Shuffle, which sounds quite interesting. So I'm now going to load that file. You see that all the patches have now changed. We've got a BPM of 180. We've got the rates of change, we've got internal sync. So again, it sets up the whole machine against a scene. And let's have a listen what that's done. And we're going to do so we've got a nice shuffly pattern of several tracks there. And again, if we change something on this, so let's see, I want to change this sine wave. Now I can actually save all this as another scene. So again, go into file menu, put into scene mode. By the way, you notice the dot stops on the bottom. It only shows you the position of the individual patches of where the cursor's running. And I save file, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to last digit and just put the number 2 in there, and then save file. So now that's saved as a whole scene, and that can be recalled whenever we want it. So that's saved to an SD card. It's a standard micro SD card in the back. You have to undo the screws. It's not hot swappable, but you can take it out and swap them with other CC FLWRs. Also, you can put it on your PC, and you can copy the patches and back them up, or share them with other musicians who've got CC FLWRs. And so that's how you use the file menu, and you save patches and scenes with the CC FLWR.